Have a good time.
Start streaming.
Let's do it, man. Let's have some fun, man. It's going to be a good time, brother. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And fellas, how was your new year? Both of y'all.
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Did you get ill-fated?
No.
Not going to comment on that.
I mean, there was a double entendre there for him. I'm pretty sure he caught it.
Yeah, no, I got you.
Yeah.
I got ill-fated enough for both of us. Don't worry.
Oh, okay. That's good.
We're already online, right? Yeah. Switch it over.
We're all live. KJ, how was your new year, sir?
Man, my new year was good, man. I didn't get into anything too crazy. I'm hoping that how I started my new year, which is exactly how the year goes.
Oh, okay,
I don't have to
good.
do it.
We're already online, right?
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Switch it over.
Oh, my goodness.
Are you watching the show on your phone, too?
Oh, it's on your phone.
KJ, how was your new year?
Yeah, you got it.
I'm an idiot.
Why.
We're not professional here, KJ. I don't know how many times I have to tell you this.
Hey, we're working on it.
30 seconds to sort that out.
We are live. We are live. And we love it.
Hey, that works.
Nobody cares.
Hey, at least we didn't say nothing too crazy.
Right.
I mean, I'm going to say something crazy right now.
I think
Go ahead.
everything bagel's got a little too much cream cheese
See,
on
that's not me, though. That's not me this time. Happy New Year!
There it is.
Hey!
Oh, you good. You can take it.
Hot mics!
Spicy hot.
Hot mics!
The mics is hot.
The mic is hot. The mic is hot.
The mic is hot tonight.
Yeah, I would have just hit go on
Are
that.
you watching the show on your phone? No!
Absolutely not.
It's only the
Press his phone.
Swear I'm not.
Calmly presses pause on his phone.
Gotta get more phone guests, I guess, huh?
I mean, I'm out of practice. Hey, Happy New Year, Sports Fiends, and welcome to the Sports Fiends Show. I am Arthur Knight, and with me, as always, is Mr. Ryan Lagan and Mr. Mike Wharton.
Yo.
But we have a special treat for y'all, and I'm going to reveal it here after I do my read here, but we do have a special guest for y'all. And I'm gonna play some audio from my guy. My guy, as Ryan so adequately said, was pretty prophetic in his words on this show, and I want to make sure that he gets the credit that he deserves. But before we do that, let me give the credit that IMV Vision deserves. IMV Vision is devoted to offering affordable and fashionable eye care. IMV Vision is your eye care advocates. Their goal is to provide all with the education and awareness needed to make an informed decision about your vision and health. They are located off of Alameda and Buckley in Aurora, Colorado, but you can call today at 720-762-4290 or book online at imvvision.com. They take most medical insurance and Medicaid, so call or book today at 720-762-4290 or imvvision.com. That's 720-762-4290 or imvvision.com. IMV Vision, we see you. All right, and Broncos, we see you too. And you know who else we see? And we're going to throw up a picture is Mr. KJ Granderson from Altitude Sports. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you doing?
Man, I'm good, man. I appreciate you guys having me, man. I'm glad to be back on the Sports Fiends, man. Like, listen, you know, it's been a long Broncos season, man, but it is truly paid off, man. And so being back on here with you guys on the bye week here, dude, it does my heart well, man. So I'm glad to be back, man. And again, man, thank you guys so much.
Hey, man, thank you for taking the time to come on the show, my guy. I've been texting him and telling him, like, every day on the show is getting better. It's always getting good, or it's always been great, but it's always getting better. We can always get better in this industry, right? You always got to get better. But with that said, nobody said it better than you at the beginning of the season. Right after the preseason, I asked you a question like, what are you thinking the Broncos are going to do after you've seen the preseason? And this is what you said. Now, mind you, I'm going to tell Mark to cut it when I get to the end, and then I'm going to ask you a question. All right, so go ahead, Mark. Play that question.
You know, I think the Broncos, you know, now, like you said, with the preseason over, I think the Broncos are in a position now where we get a chance to see can they meet the expectations that have been thrust upon them, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of it has to do with the fact that a lot of people are picking them nationally to either be Super Bowl contenders. They expect them to maybe be a dark horse in the AFC. All of these different things. You've even had some people go as far as to picking them to come out of the AFC West. And I think all of that stuff is great. But at the end of the day, it all rides on the shoulders of Bo Nix. So can Bo Nix step up to the expectations that is thrust upon him? Can the rookie running back, can he step up? You know, can we trust that this defense will step in and actually be as good as they were last year or better? Because they actually have better pieces.
Right.
They have better weapons now. They traded Devon Vele, so they think they have a better wide receiver in Pat Bryant. So all of these little things that have been matriculating through training camp is going to become important to see, can it come to pass here in 2025?
Bam, right there. All right, my guy. So, I mean, you said it. You said it. Broncos are number one. Bo Nix is it's shaky. He's shaky. The defense was better, right? So how are we feeling now? How are we feeling now? You said that. How are we feeling now?
No, man, I think we're feeling good, man. I think I wasn't too far off. Like you said, man, they finished number one in not only in the AFC West, but in the entire AFC. And they have lived up to the hype. They have become Super Bowl contenders. They literally only need 2 games to get there. So we got to give them credit. Did Bo Nix take the eye test jump that we all wanted this season? I think most of us would agree, of course not. But did he take another jump and help the Broncos develop and find their identity, which is being clutch and having a clutch gene? I think he did a great job with that. So if you're telling me that this is how the season played out versus how I predicted it would, then I would take it. I would take it because this version of the Broncos just tied the all-time record as far as the franchise is concerned for the most wins in franchise history. Pair that with the fact that the defense did get better. Pair that with
most sacks.
Right, exactly. Most sacks in team history. And so you got all of these factors that have, taken place. And so I got to credit the Broncos for honestly even exceeding my expectations. So kudos to them, man. They put themselves in a great position. And as much as everybody wants to doubt them because of what they didn't do, we got to honor what they did do.
Okay. All right, Mike. Mike, what you got?
Oh, so there's a lot of people talking about Sean Payton playing 3D chess, 4D chess, actually, add another dimension to that. The last 2 weeks, we got to say that, a little bit lackluster performances against 2 teams that were resting all or most of their starters, and the performance by the Broncos was maybe a little less than desirable. Do you think that there is something about, and we all understand that like Sean Payton or any NFL coach is not going to just
Show all of his cards.
Well, not that. He's not going to tell his quarterback hey, don't score a touchdown on. He's trying to score touchdowns. You know what I mean?
Right.
But do you think there's something to the idea that he's holding back, and then there's some more tricks or some more layers to the offense that he's going to show in the upcoming weeks that he's been holding back thus far?
Great question.
That is a fantastic question. I think so. I really do. I think Sean Payton, man, he is the type of guy that he's transparent with the way he talks, but when it comes to strategy and scheme and putting his team in the best position to be able to maximize their offensive window, I think he has been holding back on some plays. I think he's been holding back on some offensive set that he's been waiting to reveal at the right time. There's nothing like a poker player who doesn't have a poker face. And
Preach.
I think Sean Payton has developed one of the greater poker faces probably in the history of the NFL, in spite of what people may think of him because of his relationship with the NFL as a whole. Sean Payton has created success everywhere he's gone, and he's been able to sustain the success he's created. So we've got to trust that what he's been holding back will put the Broncos in position to not just win, but to be able to win with some confidence. Now, of course, I'm not predicting that they'll go on to win in the playoffs 34-13 or any crazy number like that, but I do think we will be able to see more sustained drives moving forward because I think Sean Payton has been able to put enough confusion on tape for other teams to where he can begin now with 2 weeks to prep to begin to tell his team, this is what we're really going to do. This is what we've been building up towards the entire season. Let's go ahead and play our best ball right here because you guys know that I don't do anything by happenstance. Everything I do, I have a strategy for. That's just who Sean Payton is.
Meticulous planner. Meticulous.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a perfect description.
Yeah. You know who else is a meticulous planner? Mr. Ryan Lagan.
Before we get into the best laid plans, I do want to ask a follow up about that. So
Okay.
when you talk about him potentially keeping a couple aces up his sleeve, can you just maybe speak to like what you think that looks like? I was thinking about does that look like more big plays down the field? You mentioned more extended drives, right? I've been thinking about like what that looks like from a practice standpoint for the Broncos, right? Like how much of their practices during the regular season are on this playoff side of the playbook versus what they're running each week. Has that potentially hurt them throughout the regular season, and are they going to have enough reps to really be successful running plays that they haven't run in a game setting all year long?
That's the interesting thing about the NFL, right? Like, we think that because they haven't ran it in a game or that we haven't seen that exact thing that we're going to see in a playoff game, that they haven't shown some semblance of it before. That's the beauty of Sean Payton. He could take a play and he could literally just flip it to the other side because of the way a defense is in. So, like, if a defense is playing cover 2 quarters, then it's certain plays underneath that you only have access to. But if a team is playing cover 4 zone, then if you milk, it's only a matter of time before you can beat them over the top. So there's like little things that I do believe that Sean Payton has kind of been trying to make sure that he doesn't put out there to its fullest extent. He's maybe tried some things in games that didn't work to us, and we were like, oh my gosh, that's the stupidest thing ever. In reality, he wanted to get the stupid part of the play on tape so that he can show his players, this is how it doesn't work. Let me show you how it does work. And maybe he's grooming and preparing that way. Another thing I want you guys to keep an eye on as well. A couple of players that's expected to be back here as we are entering the postseason. Third string tight end Lucas Kroll. We are also at some point expecting back J.K. Dobbins. And the question that has been like underneath the surface that we've been kind of asking here and there throughout the season is, why doesn't Sean Payton use Marvin Mims more? Well, I think Sean Payton understands that he's not only a gadget player, but he's the type of player teams can't scheme for. And so there are times where Sean Payton likes to play chess, not checkers, so that he can be able to put all of his strategy in line and be able to show you, if you got this, I got that. You think it's coming from my king? Well, here's my queen coming back to get you. He
out there playing chess.
He's out there playing chess. He has so many different layers to him because he's been doing this for so long. I remember a time in the preseason, Sean Payton, he specifically talked about how there is at least 1,000 scenarios in the 2-minute drill that oftentimes with his team, he can only go through in training camp settings because of the limited time, only 15 to 20% max. And so imagine taking 1,000 2-minute scenarios and expanding that to the entire field with all the plays that he doesn't call, that he has access to. So there's just like an entire level of tug and pull that I think Sean Payton has kind of been strategizing for. And another thing that also has me confident going into this game in the divisional round is when Sean Payton comes off of a bye and his first game is the divisional round, he's 3-0. So that's why I trust Sean Payton in his strategy.
Okay.
That's a good segue for my next question. I do want to acknowledge that, like, I think it's a fair call out. You're talking about, for the previous question, he's not trying to bake a cake with a whole new recipe. He's just maybe, using a different flavor of frosting on one side. That kind of, like, instead of reinventing the wheel, the way that the team adjusts to these kind of brand new looks is just by adding these little wrinkles into, these base layers that have already been established. So I think that's a great, way of addressing how he makes that transition at this point in the season. That being said, you kind of addressed this with the facing the divisional foe after the bye. I wanted to ask you, obviously the AFC and just the playoff picture in general is a little funky this year. There's a few wild card teams that are looked at as potential Super Bowl favorites. There's a few very high seeds that aren't necessarily proven in the same way. What do you view as the best or the most favorable path to the Super Bowl for the Broncos, and what do you view as the least favorable path?
And that is a fantastic question. So most favorable path, I would say, you're banking on all of the teams that are 1 through 4 sweeping through, or in this case, 2 through 4 sweeping through in the wild card round. You are hoping that you get Pittsburgh in the divisional round.
Mm-hmm.
So that's who you're hoping for. And then you're praying that New England can get over the hump against Jacksonville. And you want New England's inexperience to meet your growing experience. And you want to be able to show New England this is how it's done. And I'm not saying that Drake May can't rise to the occasion. I have extreme faith in Drake May. I honestly believe he's going to go on to be the regular season MVP. But
He's right
Highest
there.
QBR.
Yeah, he's right there.
yeah, he truly is. And so, but there's just a lot of things that he has not seen. And if I remember correctly, you guys forgive me if I am not remembering correctly, Drake May has not seen his Broncos defense yet.
Nope.
And so,
Or anything like it.
Exactly. So not this season, but in his entire career. Well, yeah. He played Houston,
But not the same.
Houston's a tough defense,
Yeah.
but they are not the same. And
Right.
Vance Joseph, he thrives in moments where his back is against the wall. Vance Joseph is probably the best bend but don't break defensive coordinator in the game today.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think there are just moments that I think Drake May won't be prepared for because he has not faced the best corner in football. He hasn't faced a great sideline-to-sideline linebacker like Dre Greenlaw. And honestly, he just hasn't faced a pressure like he's going to face against the Broncos. The Broncos' 2s and 3s are just as good as their 1s. And that's scary, man, as far as that D-line is concerned. So there's a lot of factors that are factored into that as to why I think the Broncos will be more favorable than people would assume on the surface just because of how explosive New England's offense has been. That's the most favorable path.
And
the least favorable – I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
The least favorable path would be if the Chargers get past New England and they have to face the Chargers again for a third time, a Harbaugh who actually he owns Sean Payton. He loves playing Sean Payton. As a matter of fact, he's owned him his entire NFL career.
Mm-hmm.
And so facing the Chargers for a third time, having to find a way to get past them again, and then you potentially run into either a Jacksonville or a Buffalo in the AFC Championship. That would probably be the path where you're kind of like, what is this? Like, this is not the gauntlet I signed up for. So those teams that I think have not been favorable matchups for the Broncos probably would be their least favorable. So if I had to rank the teams that they would least want to see 1 through 3, and I know some people would disagree with me, but I think it's Chargers 1, Jacksonville 2, Houston 3.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say Houston looks scary too, man.
I don't want to see any one of those teams, but you're gonna have to go through at least one of them, right?
Yeah, it's such a fun like playoff this season though, because I would have honestly I should have written it down because I was gonna say the same thing for the most favorable path. So you're talking about a 2 and a 4 matchup out of the entire 7 seed AFC being the best path to the Super Bowl is just wild to think about the parity that exists in that conference right now. But yeah, no. So you like the Jacksonville matchup less than or more than the Houston matchup, basically, because of that offense, I guess.
I do, because if you go back and watch the game before CJ Stroud was knocked out with the concussion, one thing that we've seen from CJ Stroud this season is CJ Stroud, he operates better when he is able to not think, when he's able to 1, 2, 3, get the ball out. 1, 2, 3, get the ball out. And we were seeing Houston start to kind of get into a little bit of a rhythm before he was knocked out of the game. I was scared to see what would have happened had he was able to stay in the game the entire time.
Yeah.
So I honestly believe, man, that Houston, they're an interesting matchup. They truly are. But the Jags can score at will, which is something I didn't expect against this Broncos defense. I'm not saying they would do the same amount of scoring, but I do think they would be able to still put up points when they needed to against this defense. And that's something that I don't think the Broncos as a whole are looking forward to have to shut down if they don't have to.
Yeah, I don't know if any offense, Jacksonville's has looked better against Denver's defense this year. I mean, you want to lean on your strengths in crunch time. You don't want to have to rely on Bo beating that Houston defense, but it's an interesting comparison. I probably have the Bills in my top 3 instead of the Chargers, just because we at least have tape on what they're going to try to do against us already, even if Herbert didn't play in the second game. But I like your list for sure.
Yeah. It's
no, man, I appreciate it.
Your list is a bit spicy though, because I got Lucas in the chat, good fan of the show and a good friend. He's saying he don't want any smoke with Houston. But before you answer that, Mike, you got a question? You got a question?
Sure. So like I was saying earlier, we're kind of discussing the possible increase in complexity of the offense from Sean Payton as we head into the playoffs, and that's all well and good, but then you got to also consider the execution side of things, which has been at times a little shaky, especially maybe from the inconsistent Bo Nix ups and downs. He shows potential, great potential, in clutch situations. But what do you think is like the big difference between like a successful Bo Nix this season or the somewhat lackluster like Bo Nix so far? What's been the difference for that?
Well, from what I've seen this season, I would say the greatest version of Bo Nix we've seen this year is when he uses his legs. And on our show, The Morning Sprint on Altitude Sports Radio, we have this term called the bow legs. We have a term called bow legs. And, you know how we always joke about people being bow legged? Like, that's what we were trying to use for bow legs, because we wanted people to understand, like, if he uses his greatest ability, what some people would also call a deficiency, is his greatest ability to keep the pocket fluid. When you are a sitting duck in the pocket, we saw it with Peyton Manning, we saw it with Tom Brady, and we saw it with a plethora of other quarterbacks, Drew Brees. When you are a sitting duck in the pocket, you make yourself susceptible to a pass rush being able to tee off on you. And Bo Nix understands that he doesn't have to be that type of quarterback because he actually has the legs. That's been the best version of Bo Nix. When he doesn't feel this like pressure to like just sit there and have to dot, and he can just focus on reacting. That's the greatest version of Bo Nix. When Bo Nix has failed, it's simply because Bo Nix is overthinking. Should I stay in the pocket or should I go? Should I see Cortland Sutton leaking open towards the sideline, but I also see Marvin Mims getting ready to make a step on the safety. Don't overthink it, man. Whichever play will get the chains moved, you do what you got to do.
Yeah, leave
Yeah.
the overthinking to Sean Payton.
Right, exactly. That's exactly who needs to be doing all the overthinking, because we've heard the stories about him not getting the plays in on time, and him having to call timeout, and both getting on the sideline about them being more crisp and all of those things. You're right. Put the pressure back on Sean. When he gives you the play, you got to trust that you can be able to deliver on that play, and trust that your running backs and your wide receivers and your tight ends and your O-line will do their job. And you don't have to put the weight of the world on your shoulders. We believe in you. That's why you are the current franchise quarterback. But you don't have to make things harder than they are. Trust your instincts is all I'm saying about Bo Nix, man. That's your greatest strength, is when you know when to just do what you do best, brother.
Exactly. And when he does that, man, everybody can see that he's a gamer. Everybody can see that SP he overthinks as well. I mean, he carries around a poster board on the sideline. And by poster board, I mean literally a poster board on the sideline.
That looks like a Waffle House menu, bro.
It really does. No, a Waffle House menu is small in comparison.
Yeah. No, that thing looks like a cheesecake factory, man.
There you go. Yep. There we go. Cheesecake for sure. Okay, so let's talk about. A lot of people have been saying that the Denver Broncos are the worst, best team, and I'm saying that they are the worst, best team. They say it in different ways. The fact that the way that they've won hasn't been glorious, hasn't been spectacular or flashy. Some have likened it to when Jacksonville won their Super Bowl, or was it Jacksonville? Yeah, Jacksonville, or no, Tampa Bay. Like not when they had the greatest of all time, but back in the day when they had Brad Johnson. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like they're comparing the Broncos back to to that type of team as the number one seed right now. You predicted this team basically. I played it at the top of the show. This team was going to be, or could be, had the potential to be exactly where they are right now. So what do you say to those people that say the Broncos kind of lucked their way into the number one spot and lucked their way into this position? Because to me, real quick, before you answer that, real quick, they went from 4 wins to, like 6-7 wins to 10 wins to now 14. What are they? 14-2? Or 14-3.
14-3. Mm-hmm.
So, how is that luck? So what do you say to those people?
Well, first I would ask them, last time I checked, wasn't it about wins? And that's what the Broncos have been doing. They've been finding a way to get wins. I didn't know that sexy wins was your determining factor for how much success you were going to have.
Or do you get points for that? Do you get points for sexy?
You don't get points for sexy. Here's my mantra. Foul points are for strippers, because those are the only people that need them. So the Broncos, at the end of the day, all they got to do is keep doing what they're doing. Nobody has yet been able to stop it. People have been able to slow it down.
Yeah.
People have been able to modify it. Yeah. People have been able to neutralize certain things. That's A-okay. That's football. Without competition, without competition, I don't know if you're winning. That's a different conversation. But they've been competitive in just about every game, and yet they've survived just about every storm. And you could even make the case they're supposed to be 16-1. And so I would just remind whomever believes that don't believe it. Because
Ryan doesn't agree.
Don't tell me that sports is about wins, but then also get mad when they win, but they don't win the way you want them to.
Ryan's got smoke with your comment there, KJ.
Sorry, that wasn't smoke directed at you, KJ. I was looking at Arthur, because all season long, he was like, they should have been 7-0. They could easily be 8-0 right now. They could easily, every single week he had to say it.
Was I wrong, though?
Every single week I had to remind you, you just scored 30 in the fourth quarter on the Giants. You're lucky you're not 500 right now, But
yeah. That is true as well. No. I'm glad you brought that up, though, because there were so many games this year where the Broncos, they honestly should have lost. let me ask you guys this question because, I think this has been something that I think Broncos country as a whole has struggled with. How much weight do we put on having the clutch gene? Like, how important is that?
I'm gonna let Mike answer that first.
Well, it's clearly been extremely important this season because that's the clutch situations or the comeback. How many comeback wins does the Broncos have this year?
An NFL record 12.
Yeah, see, so like it's clearly been a pretty important this season because without that, especially when whatever happens, whatever like switch goes off in Bo Nix's brain in a fourth quarter do or die situation, it's worked thus far because that's why we're in the position that the Broncos are in.
Okay.
That's how I feel.
Yeah, I feel there's some people that can overweight it. There's some people that can underweight it. Like it's definitely a momentum-based sport, right? And to be in a position where you can get down and know that you're not going to lose, the morale of the team and like everyone's still going to feel confident is a huge deal for sure. I mean, obviously there were games where bounces or different play calls kind of happen to go their way, and those things aren't always going to be a guarantee, right? It doesn't guarantee that you're going to make those things happen every time, but you would much rather be a team that's experienced in those moments than one that isn't.
That
you
part.
Ultimately find yourself in them later, for sure.
That part.
Well, and there's been a bunch of different ways that the Broncos have won games this year, so there's
That part too.
There's some value to having that experience to win in this way, win in that way, a low-scoring game, blowing them out, long, drawn-out drives that wear out the opposing defense at altitude, all these kinds of little things there. Just trying to. I think that that experience is quite valuable when it comes to the playoffs. And if Bo Nix is the guy that clutch guy, that's where he shines. If that's what we're saying, well, right now as we enter the playoffs, this is the fourth quarter of the season, so it's time to have that Bo Nix show up.
Hey, I couldn't agree with both of them anymore with what they said. And just to add a little bit to that, the Broncos last year didn't really have. I mean, they had the clutch gene, or you could kind of see flashes of it because they had these same type of games last year, but they were losing them, right? So, this year they were winning them. And as Mike said, yes, it was very important this year. But I had made mention to another young man that I was speaking to the other day, and we were just talking, football. But he had made mention that all of these, how Jacksonville just laid the wood to the Denver Broncos. And I was like, okay, well, that was on a short week. That was all of these reasons. I know
Mr. Jet lag over here.
Look, man, all of those things are a factor. I don't care how much these guys are getting paid. You try flying. I remember, all I am is a manager. Okay, I'm just a manager of a area, and they had me flying from one end of the earth to the other end of the earth. It felt like, but it was really just to Seattle, LA, and Washington D.C. But it was hard for me to function. After a while, it was like I couldn't function. I don't play professional sports either, so to me, it is a factor. But with all of that said, and even if you take that away, because of the fact of the way they lost last year, I think that experience is what has driven this Broncos team and given them that edge and given them that clutch. Because it's not just Bo Nix. Bo Nix is only second or first or second in drop passes, or has his passes dropped in the NFL at like 42 or somewhere around that area. A lot of passes dropped. So when he's in clutch mode, his wide receivers are in clutch mode. His rookie running back is in clutch mode, scoring touchdowns. And you could talk about how many yards he hasn't ran, or how many yards he gets per game. How many yards? I've been pissed off about it. I've said it on this show several times. They need to run the ball more. But as I've looked at the numbers over the course of the season, it's not just that they're running the ball in abundance, but they are running it effectively. I think I can't remember who it was on your show either today or a day or so ago that had mentioned about the fact that Dobbins is still one of the top running backs, and he's been out for like a few weeks. Like,
Right, exactly.
how does that happen when you don't run the ball, KJ? Explain it to me like I'm a kindergartner, bro. Like, I don't understand.
Dobbins, he quickly understood with Sean Payton, make the most of your carry. I don't think that's a great way of going about it in the playoffs, but for the regular season, it worked, I guess. So, I mean, that's a long answer made short, I guess.
Yeah, I feel you.
I think you could see a different structure too, though, because remember there was really no faith in RJ Harvey early in the year at all. I mean, outside of garbage time or overmatched opponents, he had no success, right? And it's only after Dobbins has been out that he's really gotten enough carries to build some momentum and to really have success against tougher defenses. And you know, you were always knowing Dobbins was going to be injury prone. You were always trying to manage the workload with him, even when he was the only guy you could rely on. So now if you've got more of a two-headed monster back there, you know, maybe you have a different approach. Who can say?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I would say if JK comes back, then I think that two-headed monster, that two-man backfield, I think definitely becomes a lot more dangerous now that RJ kind of has seen a little bit more of the light. What I would caution anybody on is, though I believe in RJ Harvey, the one like natural instinct that's like his thing that is ingrained in him that I think the running back coaches are trying to work out of him, but it's hard to rewire a running back's brain when he's been doing it for so long. He's kind of like Reggie Bush from the perspective of his natural instinct is what's the quickest way to get to outside, right? Instead of finding the open hole. And I think if he can ever get that right, he will be a perennial 1,500-yard back on the ground, let alone what he does in the air.
My guy, because when he does that, KJ, when you see him do that on those cutback plays, when he actually thinks on his feet or doesn't think, he just reacts on his feet. You can see it happen. That's when he does those breakaway touchdowns or those big runs, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you've seen it multiple times that if he's just patient enough to let the hole open up, he can let either his center or his guard meet him at the second level, and they can spring maybe one more extra block, and then what should have been maybe a 5 or 6 yard gain now turns into a 20, 25-yard gain, or in some cases a 40-yard touchdown like against the Cowboys. So like you said, man, I mean, he's learning what it means to be patient. He's learning what it means to read defenses at the NFL level. He's also learning in real time how quickly those holes close up. So I have grace for him, and my grace period will probably be extended even past his second year in the league, just because I know how hard it is. Beyond that, though, what I would encourage him to do is I know we're talking about this playoff run, but for the sake of RJ probably being the feature back down the road, what I would encourage him to do, man, is know that you can get outside, but trust when you go inside, you'll still have success. That's what I want him to really focus on.
Couldn't agree more, my guy. We're going to switch gears really quick because we got about. I don't want to hold you to, but I do want to, KJ. I want to get your opinion on these games really quick. So going into this weekend, we've got the Rams and the Panthers, right? Am I reading this correctly?
You are.
And then the Packers and the Bears. I already know how Ryan feels about the Packers. He's a big Packer fan. He's a cheesehead. We have it all over Facebook. Have his face all over Facebook. You've seen it with this cheesehead at the Broncos game. So going out of this weekend, who you with? Who you got? Rams and Panthers.
I'm not going to be a fool here. I'm going Panthers. I'm sorry. Let me stop playing. I'm going Rams here. I'm going Rams.
It's funny.
I do think I think the Rams are legitimately pissed that they blew their opportunity to take the NFC West crown, and then obviously that would have led them to taking over the NFC. There were just a couple of games that they lost along the way that they, looking back on it, they wish they would have done more.
Including Carolina.
But Devontae, that is a perfect example. Devontae Adams obviously has been out, and they've also just been trying to keep their defense to a level to where it's able to hold above freight. They were at a point this year where they were one of the better teams when it came to cage sacks and cage rushes from the D-line perspective. And as the season's going along, they had to depend more on their defensive backs to kind of help the front seven get more of a push. So they've been trying to find an even mode there. And then as you guys saw, they fired their special teams coordinator.
Right.
So they had to go and promote the Broncos' former special teams coordinator from last year, Ben Kawika. He was promoted to interim special teams coordinator, and he's taken over the last 45 weeks of the regular season, and they have looked flawless under his watch. So I got the Rams. They've been trending in the right direction despite some of their fluky losses. And I got to trust what I've seen the entire season instead of a couple of spots throughout the season.
All right, so then in prime time at Soldier Field, which will probably after this season no longer be played at, right? But
I think it's a couple years.
Is it 2 years?
Yeah, it's gonna be soon,
Yeah.
But either way,
they got a couple of years.
I don't think the Packers like playing there anyways. And be gentle because Ryan's you don't like playing at
Soldier Field. We love just as much as Lambeau.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I forget Cheeseheads travel. I forget, because that's why he's here, right? So Green Bay Packers and Bears at Soldier Field, right? Who you with?
Mm-hmm. Believe it or not, man, I know a lot of people don't believe me on this, but I actually have the Packers because a lot of this has to do with the fact that I don't think that Ben Johnson is not ready. I obviously believe he's very much so ready. Caleb Williams is the one that I still struggle with in believing that what we saw throughout the regular season will translate in such a clutch and such a very I can't afford to make mistakes moment. Like, this is one of the few times where you legitimately only have 60 minutes is do or die. And in the history of Caleb's career, has he had these moments at the college level? Yes, and he talked about that this week. I just don't know if it will translate to the NFL level yet. We obviously will see on Saturday. I have the Packers more so because Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur, they're at the point in their relationship now where it's legacy, nothing else. And it's time for them to take that step. And it's time for them to show that in spite of our obstacles, we will be okay. We can get over the hump. And they also need to show everybody that even though they have been the 7th seed for the last 4 seasons, that doesn't mean anything. Because if they can't do it this year, I think that's going to raise some real concerns with Matt LaFleur.
Do you think LaFleur is coaching for his job?
I personally think so. I don't think Jordan Love has any beef with him. But I do think the tide is starting to raise on whether he can actually get the job done. He went from one Hall of Fame quarterback to another great one, and he has yet to have any postseason success. That at some point has to rear its ugly head.
Couldn't agree more. All right, so on Sunday, 11 a.m., Bills at Jaguars, which is crazy to say.
In the wild card.
I mean, the Jaguars are legitimate. They're legitimately there. I'm not even going to try to front. But the Bills being 12-5 and the 6th seed is crazy to me. But who you with?
Man, so this one's been a little tough for me because I've been trying to take my bias out of it because of Jacksonville beating the Broncos. But as we take a look at the temperature this weekend, it's going to be 80 degrees on Saturday. So they have a chance to have a real nice, warm Jacksonville type of day. And so with that being the case, Jacksonville being at home, they can feel the sunshine on their skin. I think they will do all that they can to stay neck and neck with Buffalo as the game goes on along. And I do believe that Jacksonville will have the ball last, and they will go on to get the walk-off win this Saturday.
Youth beats experience. Okay, you heard it here first. All right, what about that afternoon, 49ers and Eagles? Eagles do look like a shell of themselves of last year, especially going into this playoff run. Who you with?
forgive me. Who's the team the Eagles are playing?
49ers and Eagles.
49ers. Gotcha. Give me the 49ers in this one. I've been hearing people trying to talk up the reality of what happens if Cal blows another game, or if he loses in the first round again, or this, that, and the third. And the 49ers, they've actually been fine all season. Let's take the anomaly of the first couple of games of the season and then this last game of the season away. Everything else, when they have fought through injuries, when they've had adversity, they did not create any excuses. All they did was create pathways to success. Mm-hmm. And I want people to also realize that the 49ers, they never asked for the how. They never asked to be successful. They just found a way to do it. And I think that has to be accounted for. The Eagles have begged all season, can you please throw me the ball? Can you please run the ball? Can you please defense? Can you please?
And they've been can I have some more?
Right, exactly. I've been looking at more headlines out of Philly this year than I think I ever have in that Donovan McNabb and Terrell Owens era, man. So I don't trust that team because they create their own drama for no reason. And I will take a team that's focused and they have a goal and they understand that they let the opportunity to never leave home all the way through the Super Bowl slip through their hands.
Okay.
And I do think they have revenge on their mind.
All right, 2 more games to roll through here, and then we'll switch it up to some hoops talk in the last segment here. So take your Homer hat off because I know you're just like me. You got to take off your Broncos hat, and not who you want to win, but who's going to win. Chargers and Patriots, who you with?
Oh man, the Mike Vrabel versus Jim Harbaugh. I don't think we talk about that coaching matchup enough, man. The chess that's going to be played in that game is going to be unbelievable. But if I have to be honest, I do think the Patriots, they see a world where it's their time. And I do think the Patriots overcome the Chargers. The Chargers, they don't want to be honest with themselves because they are able to do like the Broncos and for the most part keep it close. The injuries, this is the time where they usually show up. And you're missing Najee Harris, your number 1 running back. You're missing both of your tackles. You've been hit or miss sometimes with your wide receivers this year. And
your quarterback has a broken hand.
Quarterback's beat up.
He's having to have surgeries in season.
Right.
And your pass rush has been inconsistent. Taking all of that into the equation, I know Jim Harbaugh is going to have his team well coached, but New England, they just simply have better players right now. And so I just think New England's desire and their will overwhelm the Chargers again and will bounce the Chargers in the first round for the 4th consecutive season.
And then some real things are going to be shaking up in Los Angeles. All right, last but not least, I think I already know the answer to this question, but Houston Texans and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, I know I say that in jest because the Steelers do figure out ways to just win games, but who you with?
Oh, man. I'm just going to be honest here. I'm going with the Texans. And let me say
surprise,
this, man.
Surprise.
Right, exactly. Let me say this. I don't think I've made this clear. Because I cover the Broncos here in town, like the Broncos are really grown on me. But my actual team is the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I know this may sound weird to say because people are like, how can you be a fan of a team and say this? But I hope the Steelers lose because they need to rip the Band-Aid off, man. Like, time and time again, they keep doing the same thing, like they keep practicing insanity, expecting a different result by taking a different quarterback who they know isn't a long-term fit and placing them in a situation where he can have just above average success, but not enough to actually take them to places to be actually successful as a team, as a franchise. So I'm banking on Houston youth, their aggressiveness, their desire D'Amico Ryans, man, he has thrown himself into the Lions' den in regards to not being afraid of anyone. And so, man, I'm just happy to see this guy have success. And I think it's his time. He doesn't have to face Lamar. He doesn't have to face Patrick Mahomes. He doesn't have to face Joe Burrow. And I think he's going to seize the moment.
Okay. Speaking of seizing the moment, man, the Denver Nuggets go 3-4 on their East Coast road trip without the majority of their starters during that the duration of that time. One of those games they played with none of their starters. None of their backups. Like they played two-way players.
That's probably one of the best basketball games I've seen in a long time.
Bruh, it was one of the most complete basketball games I've seen in a long time.
Fantastic basketball. That was fun to watch.
So is this promising, or are we still concerned, KJ? Are you still concerned about the Nuggets? I know you've talked about this on your show. Are you still concerned about the Nuggets going forward, like without Jokic?
I'm not concerned at this point. Knowing what I know now, knowing that Jokic is working around the clock to get back, knowing that this team still has the fight, the grit, and the hunger to want to win, I'm A-okay. I'm fine. The Nuggets are 3-2 without Nikola Jokic, and I promise you, other than this season, there is no other season you can look back on and say that this would have been possible. Which says so much about these guys, this group. It says so much about David Adelman. It says so much about the front office, and it says so much about the intentionality of the Denver Nuggets as an organization. They understand what's at stake here. And there are just little moments, little checklists along the way where you get to really see that. And this is it. This is usually when Jamal Murray becomes Jamal Murray. If you look at his career, his highest points per game average by month is usually in January, and yet he's averaged 25 points per game this entire season. So we don't have to worry about him peaking. He's just going to continue to do what Jamal Murray does. And just seeing Jamal Murray as a one and seeing him being more of a facilitator and him being more patient. This is the most patient we've ever seen Jamal Murray in his career.
22-17 last night against Boston. Sorry, brother.
Brother. No, you're good.
Much to Ryan's chagrin, for sure.
Exactly.
Ryan's a Boston fan.
Yeah.
Diehard Boston fan.
All right, Packers and Celtics. I got to keep that in mind. He likes somebody agree.
He's all over the map, bro. Don't even get us started on that. He's all over the map. No,
it's all New England except the Cheesehead, but Cheesehead chooses you. You don't choose the Cheesehead, you know?
No. I like that. I like that. I got to give the Nuggets credit, man. They have so much fight within them, man, and I just am truly grateful to be able to witness what I'm watching. I hope none of us as fans, people who get to cover the team, media, none of it, I hope we don't take this for granted, man, because we're watching one of the rare seasons in Nuggets history. Take wins aside, we're seeing a team that has never given up. Outside of that one game in Brooklyn, we are seeing a team that just does not really give up, man. And we got to credit them for that, man. This is like one of the hungriest teams I think I've ever seen in Nuggets history.
All the way down to the 12th man.
Yeah.
All the way down to the 12th man, man. And so this team, I think they're built for something that most people don't see, and that's the ability to endure in spite of what it looks like. So for the first time in a long time, OKC could get up 20 in the first half, and I wouldn't blink. Because I still believe that the Nuggets could come back. Wow. That's how confident I am in this team right now.
Wow.
We saw that with that great win with the nothing but bench players over the 76ers, and then the very next game we get a couple of starters trickling back into the rotation and then put together a very complete game against a pretty hot Boston Celtics team. I mean, that's very promising for any Denver Nuggets fan at this point.
I agree 1,000%. Let me ask you guys. Tomorrow night, they get a chance to see the New Look Hawks for the first time. This is going to be the first time without Trae Young. Their franchise leader, he's the franchise leader in three-pointers made and franchise leader in assists. So we're talking about a trajectory shifting move that Atlanta just made.
Mm-hmm.
But they also believe that Jalen Johnson is their guy. And after watching what he did in Atlanta when the Nuggets played him earlier in December, I think he's a really great all-around player, and I think this is a very great young team in Atlanta. So let me ask you guys, knowing all of the momentum that they have, but also are getting ready to face one of the tougher young and up-and-coming teams in the East, is there a chance for a potential slip-up? Because they know that they have what it takes to win, but yet other teams are not giving that same credit to the Nuggets. They also believe that their young cores as well have what it takes. What do you guys think about that?
Well, I would say you want to talk about clutch gene. The Denver Nuggets have that, and they have rallied behind their head coach. And they did drop a couple of games. Like, they very well could have won that Brooklyn game. They very well could have won, a number of
the Cleveland game.
The Cleveland game. They were winning that game the entire game.
They could have won the San Antonio game.
Yeah, and yes, they dropped those. Those are the few gems that any skeptic could probably throw out there. But with that said, for the most part, this team, with all of the turmoil and barriers that has been placed before them, this season they still are in the top 5, top 3 period. As a team, they're in the top 5 and playing well, playing for each other, playing spirited basketball. And you have a guy like Jones, who Mark, the guy behind the boards here, who I should have allowed to ask a couple of questions here, because I'm sure he has them. Because Mark is a diehard fan here, but Spencer Jones, man, he's been like he's a two-way player that's might have played his way onto this team. There's a roster spot as far as I know. He could have played his way onto this team. So to answer your question, I know we got 3 minutes here, but to answer your question, I do believe that the Denver Nuggets are going to stay true. I think they had a get-right game against Philly after the coach called them out and said, they weren't playing hard. And then they came out and beat Philly with a bunch of bench players, and then beat one, like Mike said, one of the hottest teams in the East right now, which is surprising as well in itself that Boston is playing so well.
I would love to talk more about that next week.
Okay, let's talk about that.
We can get into it.
We can get into it because they are playing a lot better than most people thought they would be. So I don't think there's going to be any slip-ups. I think that even though Atlanta is hot, the Denver Nuggets are hotter. Tim Hardaway doesn't seem like – it seems like the hoop is the ocean to him, and he's just throwing it, and it's going in from anywhere, eyes closed, backwards, and sideways. But I don't want to use up all the time. But that's my two cents on how the Nuggets – are going to go going forward.
Hey, man, I think as long as Peyton Watson keeps playing like he wants to get paid, I think that's a good thing for the rest
30
of
points?
for the rest of this season.
Talk about it.
For the rest of this season until we hit the off season, then some decisions got to be made. You know what I'm saying?
Like
he's going to want that money. Who are we willing to deal out so we can free up some of that room? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, Spencer Jones is playing his way onto the roster. Peyton Watson is playing his way off of it.
Yeah, right.
That's a good point.
But
Ryan, your thoughts on the?
I think until you get Jokic back, you have to kind of measure your confidence carefully. Like, the Hawks are still, they're not hot right now. They're 3-7 in their last 10, but they're still a dangerous team. It's gonna take time for that trade to fully gel and maybe see the maximum potential there. But those types of moves can sometimes energize teams, right? Because that's the front office saying, hey, we believe in these guys like that we have, even when the so-called star player isn't on the floor. We think we're better without him. We want to add some pieces around that. Like, they may get some energy from that, getting these other guys into the rotation that maybe fit a little bit differently. And it's obviously it's a vote of confidence for the stars that have taken a step forward for that team this year. So it should be an interesting game. You always like your chances in Denver, but I think without Jokic, I wouldn't call them huge favorites in this game for what it's worth.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, if the Hornets can dog walk the Thunder in OKC, anything's possible. You know what I'm saying?
I'm so glad you brought that up.
Oh my
just so,
Yeah.
just so we can all just soak that in for a second.
Yeah, enjoy that one.
Hey, real quick, because I know we got to go here, because there's been this craziness going around that said ever since they played in Minnesota and Minnesota's coach made a complaint, OKC's games have been called a little bit differently. Like, there's like video and stuff out there of like the calls that they were getting they're not getting post. So we'll see how the rest of the NBA season shapes up. But KJ, man, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, man, taking the time out. I know your schedule is hectic and crazy, so we appreciate you showing up on the Sports Phenz and giving us the full hour, man. You filled in the full hour, and I can't wait to get you here after the Broncos win the Super Bowl.
Man, absolutely, man. I'm more than willing to come down and hang out with you guys, man. Again, man, I appreciate you all so much for having me on, man. And my schedule's never too busy for y'all, man. Never too busy, man. So if there's ever anything you need, anybody you need me to connect you up with, you guys just say the word, man, and I got you, man. You guys keep doing what you're doing. You're killing it. And I look forward to continuing to support from a distance, man.
All right, man.
Appreciate you.
And that's going to do it for our show this week. We will catch y'all next week, same time, Thursday, 7 p.m. Thank you for following and liking and subscribing on all of the, social medias at Sports Phenz with the Z's. We will see y'all next week. Deuces.
Appreciate you, KJ. It was fun.
Oh, I know all about that.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate y'all again.